Biscuits and tea.
I actually agree. There's nothing. I mean, just we live in a society. Obviously, still going to get over. How weird is it to be in a country where it's okay to and legal to smoke weed in the state next door to you, and like imagine like you're in Utah Utah, right? Say you're in Utah.
Uh-huh.
It's absolutely ridiculous. No. Probably. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just guessing. But like they're right next to Colorado, and they're like,
Nebraska and Colorado is that's the perfect example because you have a super red state and then a super blue state.
I cross the border like multiple times a day where that changes.
It's nuts.
In Virginia,
really?
multiple times a day. It'll be legal, not legal, legal, not legal. Just.
And then you have like it's the same thing as like back in the day with Missouri and Kansas, and I don't exactly remember what it was, but there was maybe a tax on hard liquor, and people would always only go buy hard liquor in Missouri, or I don't know. The legal age limit was 18, so you would have to go to Missouri side to get your alcohol, and then come back to Kansas. Like it's just stupid. It's so dumb.
At that point, you got to wonder why we can't trust adults, because no one's saying. That's the part of the movement. It's really weird. I guess there are just going to be generational differences for everybody, but it's at what point do you just determine? There's a really interesting dude named Graham Hancock that talks about this. At what point does someone else get to determine your level of consciousness?
Yeah.
At what point does someone get to determine you as a human, how you think, how you alter your consciousness? Alcohol obviously is going to alter your consciousness. We've all decided that it's kind of okay. It doesn't even do it in a way that's generally thought-provoking. Not many times the greatest inventions haven't come from people drinking alcohol.
No,
alcohol
and there are all sorts of
alcohol came from people drinking alcohol. So you that right now.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't. It's really hard to wonder if we don't need to maybe push more personal responsibility or maybe deal with the issue. We're like little kids running away from a problem.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to in every single state smoke weed. Right? There's a giant section of people probably smoking or using weed in some capacity, right? And the state instead is just like, can we just lock these people up and just forget about it? Can we just give him a slap on the wrist, put him in the thing, tell him not to do it again, and just forget it? Well, he's still going to come out and still want to do it. Like you haven't solved anything. So maybe we should like figure out a different approach. Is that education? Is that legalizing it? Is that controlling the substance? Is that anything but just, hey, these people, they smoke weed. You bad, you go jail. I don't know.
It's interesting.
How dare you driving to Taco Bell at 2 a.m?
There was there's a new documentary. It's really, really good on psychedelics, and
I heard
it's outstanding. I haven't finished it yet. We were watching it last night, and just looking at the perspectives and how the 80s and 90s handled psychedelics, and even the 70s, I guess, and everything that was around, the propaganda around it and the nonsense and demonizing it all. And then you start looking at all, and we've talked about this before, the medical benefits of LSD, obviously, and all these, life-changing experiences that people have. And, there's obviously ways to use this stuff that we haven't figured out in very positive ways, whereas it makes you wonder why alcohol is so cool with everything in our culture, and we just let people just drink as much as they want whenever they want. Just don't drive.
Just don't drive. Well, how many alcohol-related deaths do you guys think happen? How many deaths are related? Not just to. I'm not even just going to do drunk driving
every day.
I want to know also. I don't know. I'll Google a year. Let me say in 1 year how many alcohol-related deaths. That includes people that obviously, unfortunately, get either addicted to drinking, they become alcoholics, and they die from liver failure.
Are we doing the world or just like the U.S.?
I don't know what stat we could.
Do the U.S. Let's do U.S.
The world's kind of just a big.
I say that there's probably at least 100,000 people a year.
I would say 200.
I
would say like 230.
I'm going to say 175. 175,000.
175. I'll go on the high end. I'll say 400,000.
You're going deep.
Okay, so it's less than that. We got the stats here from February 4th, 2020. Deaths that included alcoholism. An estimated 88,000 people die from
so my
alcohol.
100,000 was more accurate. Okay.
Sure. Making alcohol the third leading preventable cause of death in the United States. Do you guys know what the first two are? Preventable causes of death in the United States.
Accident?
Opioids.
What are the other two?
Car accident?
No and no.
No.
You're both wrong. B's kind of on the right track.
Cancer is not one of them.
Smoking cigarettes.
Boom.
Cigarette.
Nailed it. Number 1, tobacco. What's the second one?
Oh,
You guys are close. I think maybe I wasn't sure. It's preventable. What is the one thing America, one of
drugs.
the other things America
Did they
loves?
just say just?
Oh, obesity.
Oh,
Boom.
yeah.
Food. Poor diet. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, to imagine, I don't know how high those ones are comparatively, but, you
So
know,
if you
and by the way,
compare cigarette deaths
okay.
to, for example, overdoses on LSD.
Oh, I don't know what that would be. Oh, Jesus Christ. Did that many people really die? How many people die from cigarette-related
800.
deaths each year?
800,000 a
Yeah.
year.
No. It's 500,000.
And
500,000 people die.
so, okay, so if the argument is that smoking marijuana is bad,
Is that the
smoking
argument? I just want to clear. Let's make sure we clear up their argument. Is that the
yeah,
argument? It's bad because why? I
I'm
don't
trying,
know.
I'm trying to
you know.
understand as well. Like, okay, so people obviously like, okay, well, they can't really argue about the whole smoking thing if people are eating it because it's obvious you can
Right,
eat it, you
yeah.
can drink it, like whatever.
Drink it.
One,
Yeah.
So
I know one of the arguments is, it's supposed to have a negative effect, like most drugs, on developing brain is one of the big ones. A lot of people's
Okay.
brains don't finish developing, I think, till they're 24. So I think that's
Yeah.
that's
Some
I think
mid
that's one of the big
20s.
ones.
so yeah, so I mean that's why we don't let kids drink alcohol in the United States, right?
Sure, but we still let them drink before their brains are developed. I
Mhm.
mean,
21.
and over in Europe, over
Yeah.
here, they drink at 18, and I'm right next to Denmark where they let them drink at 15.
So this smoking marijuana, it definitely doesn't affect your lungs like smoking cigarettes. Why?
Don't know.
It's not. I
Does
think
it?
it's
I
like
don't
not
know.
as much.
Doesn't?
Like people just
Okay.
Because
people chain like cigarettes and people going through like 2-3 packs a day. That's just a lot of.
but is it about the amount or is it about what the substances are that are coming into your
I think it's.
lungs from tobacco and the chemicals and
I think it's a.
Oh, I think there's probably more. There's more. If the question is what's more harmful to the populace, then I think there's no debate, and that everything that's in cigarettes there's more carcinogens and problems in cigarettes than there would be in something that is actually, I mean, but then again, people aren't just smoking tobacco, right? When you get a cigarette, you're getting all sorts of other stuff. Not
yeah,
everybody
like what's the
just.
paper? Like what are the harmful chemicals in cigarettes?
I heard this thing when I was a kid that there was rat poison in
There's
cigarettes, but I don't know if
I-
that's true.
There's just a crazy. I think it's just a list of 90 different chemicals. Some crazy stuff.
I got you, B. Nicotine, hydrogen cyanide, formaldehyde, lead, arsenic, ammonia, radioactive elements such as uranium, benzene. It's disgusting. That's a sickening amount of things that you would never, ever put in yourself, ever.
Yeah.
So is it even the tobacco at this point that's causing like?
I don't
if we have
think
that many,
so. I mean, I think that you could probably smoke your own tobacco like in an organic,
Way.
Paper,
way.
and like, is it
Have-
really gonna?
Yeah, because when they were smoking tobacco when we were first coming overseas, they're uranium and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're not putting ammonia, lead, arsenic, cyanide. We get like, did we get bored, Tyler? Like we're like,
I somehow made it more addicting. It had just made it more addicting some way.
why is that in there? It's literally poison. That's just a list of poison. So why is that okay? I don't understand why that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm literally, this is the first time I've ever looked into. I've never inhaled anything ever in my life. I've never looked into why is that okay? As someone who doesn't smoke, explain to me why I should tell someone that it's okay to smoke poison, but it's not okay for them to smoke a plant. I don't understand. As an outsider.
Well, not really. I think they just got more powerful. I think it's just tobacco companies got bigger quicker, and then they said we don't want any competition, so nobody can do this other alternative.
It shouldn't be allowed. It should not be allowed. If we're gonna ban something and put people in jail for it, like we should not allow people to smoke cigarettes. It's so dangerous.
That's the way it looks like. That's the way. If half a million people died, that's affecting God knows exponentially how many families are affected, and by that, Why is that okay?
Dude, like, I mean, okay, I'm okay if we want to make marijuana illegal, but can we just make tobacco illegal too then?
Might as well. I mean, well, I also don't think. I think it should be down to. I still think people should be able to choose, and
Yeah,
clearly
for
the issue
sure.
is though. Obviously, they should be able to choose because I think in moderation, whether people like it or not, if somebody has one cigarette a year, it's unfortunately not going to hurt them. If they
No.
smoke marijuana once a month or whatever it is, unfortunately, you don't want to. No, you don't want kids smoking. You don't want to get kids that haven't formed their brains. You don't want them to do cigarettes. You don't want them to do marijuana. But at the same point, you don't want to lie to these people like what they did when I was growing up. And I don't think you guys got this as much. The DARE program where they tried to
so
scare
bad.
I got
us.
the DARE program.
So they
So
tried to
bad.
just scare you instead of educating you. They just try and scare you away from it. So now you're pretending like it's a thing, and then something happens later on. And I have had friends like this that they were scared to do all this stuff because of it's going to do this, it's going to do this, and then what happens is that something happens. They go away from home, and then they don't have an ability to handle it, and they take one puff or one drink, and it's over. Their life is over for the next 5 to 7 years. They don't have any way of dealing with it properly like an adult.
The other issue with that is they say they kind of grouped all of these things into all one group and just said this is all terrible, this will all ruin your life. And then a kid younger, he smokes a joint and this didn't ruin my life. Well, like I wonder if maybe heroin won't ruin my life either. And then
right. The wrong effect. Yeah. So you were lying. Then the kid finds out you were lying.
What else were you lying? You were lying about this drug. Or were you lying about this one too? I don't know.
About everything else?
Lying about Santa Claus and what the fuck? What's going on
And
here?
heroin.
Here's a bigger
Heroin and Santa Claus. Why are we lying about it? Can we just educate?
The bigger problem is why three men that have nothing to do with the education system have to be having this discussion, when I wonder if like the closed door meetings for them are like, just tell them no. Same with sex and abstinence, like back at a certain time. They're just like, just tell them not to do it. What do you think, Bob? Yeah, I don't think he'll do it. I don't think.
Yeah,
like they're
Bob,
smoking in there.
Bob, did you wait till you were married to have sex?
Yeah.
No, I didn't, Bob. Okay, Rob. Go tell the kids to go do that.
Go tell them to do that. Go tell them not to do any of those things. Don't arm them. You don't want to arm their brains. You got a bunch of that's a problem, man. That's it's kind of a problem.
It also makes it a lot easier because when you're like high schoolers, they're buying weed from other high schoolers. But when you usually
I don't know how that
it would
works.
be mostly they would be buying it from other high schoolers, but if you wanted to find alcohol, you usually had to find someone over 21 to go get alcohol.
That's safe.
Yeah.
You got 16-year-old girls. I remember in high school, you got 16-year-old girls driving up on Truce, which is not a good area of Kansas City, driving up to the alcohol shop in the back of the store for the creep guy to come out with the bag and give the high school girls, like, are you kidding me? Like, looking back on that, man, like, what are you doing? You're going to get stolen. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah. It's weird because in Europe, it's very lax, but I wonder if alcohol-related deaths in Europe are less than they are in the U.S. because we're so...
I can guarantee that cigarette deaths are higher.
You think cigarette... Well, they do definitely smoke more in Europe, I would imagine.
Compared to the U.S.
All right, let's see.
I smoked a cigarette in Paris because...
Okay.
They were gonna beat me up if I didn't, because they just make you.
We smoke here. Are you okay? You smoke.
Not a fan. Not a fan. Don't understand it.
Cigarette.
It's.
I've never even actually smoked a cigarette. I've had like, some cigars and stuff, but I just get
taste. And I don't even like cigars. Yeah, they made me sick to my stomach, and
you need to go take a nap and hope you wake up feeling normal.
I don't like it at all.
Sorry,
I don't like tobacco at all.
I don't know.
They don't give you. Well, we've already established, you didn't have tobacco. You had lead, arsenic, benzene, uranium. Like you didn't have tobacco.
Yeah, that's true.
So Tyler, you wanted to say that European tobacco deaths,
the death rate at least. I don't know what the population of Europe is as a whole.
I don't know what it would compare to the U.S., but you are correct in saying that it is more.
No.
How much more?
I would say 25, 30
million.
25 million people. No, if that was the case, better. How dumb would humans be to have not?
I would increase it by like 30, 40%.
You're just a little over, or 700,000.
Croatia's crazy. It blows my mind here.
Yeah, everybody smokes there. in the Balkan region, everybody smokes. That's part of culture. You have a coffee, you sit down, go to a cafe.
Everyone, dude. Everyone
cigs right there.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. That was the most amazing thing. Like, you just go down, you sit at a restaurant, and then you just roll up your little cigarette and smoke it.
'Cause I'm a big fan of cafe culture. It's just
I do love cafe culture. USA needs
what-
cafe culture. I don't know, B, how much you went to in France.
that's what I spent my whole
Yeah, I love it. I
all
love
of
it.
yesterday. We were at the cafe from noon to 8.
Yeah.
Just on the little terrace,
great.
just drinking and just eating some pizza, having some
Yeah.
lasagna. It's awesome.